A very good afternoon to you, Pimani. Take us through how the province performed in these elections and really what's been the reaction.
Good afternoon, Flo, and good afternoon to our viewers. As you were saying, Flo, we are indeed at the Result Operations Center in Polokwane, Limpopo, where the IEC in the province is expected in the next 30 minutes or so to officially announce how parties that were contesting elections in this province on Monday performed. But you already know, Flo, the IEC nationally has already announced the official results, where we've seen the ANC remaining as the main party in the province, garnering about 68.75% of the voter support in the province, with about 700 seats. This, Flo, it's an increase in comparison to how the party did last year, where they've increased by about 3 seats in council. But Flo, there were also other interesting results in the province, where we've seen the EFF, which has always been the official opposition in the province ever since it was founded, decreasing its support base in Limpopo, where its voter support percentage went down to just over 14%, down from 16% in the 2016 election. But it is also, the interesting part with the EFF is that it has also decreased its seat allocation in council, where it went down from 190 seats to just over 170 seats. But the interesting part is that the EFF in the previous council, it had 4 wards, and it has doubled that right now to about 8 wards, Flo. But the other interesting elements about the results that we've seen in Limpopo is an increase by the FF Plus, Flo, where we saw last year the party had a 0.57% support from the province, but right now it has increased that to just over 3%, and it has even increased its seat allocation in councils across the province from 16 in the 2016 elections to 19 in this election, Flo. But also another interesting thing, Flo, was independent candidates, where we've seen them contesting various councils across the province. And last year, Flo, when we looked at the allocation that was allocated to independent candidates across the province, they had about 3 seats, but in this current election, they got about 10 seats, Flo. So those are some of the interesting things that we expect the IEC to announce when it officially hands over this award in 30 minutes time or so, Flo.
All right, Pimani, I mean, it's interesting to me that you say that the FF Plus has increased, whereas the EFF has decreased, and I won't assume that the FF Plus got some voters from EFF. That would be quite a bizarre set of circumstances. So where exactly are we seeing that FF Plus could have, I'll say, bitten from?
You know, Flo, one of the things that we kept hearing when we speak to different analysts about these elections, Flo, is that it seems the DA suffered the most decrease, and most of its voters went to both the EFF and the FF Plus. Analysts were saying it's quite interesting that, the EFF is seen as a party that it needs to be taken away from the ANC support. But in this province, Flo, it seems the ANC retained most of its support, and the DA lost most of it to both the FF Plus and the EFF, Flo. But the other interesting thing that I must mention, Flo, is the 2 hung councils in the province. And, analysts keep saying the status quo in this election has remained the status quo from the previous election, where we saw there were 2 hung municipalities, the Modimolle Mohopong municipality and the Tabazimbi municipality. Even this year, Flo, we've seen the Modimolle Mohopong being hung, as well as the Tabazimbi. But the interesting part about the Modimolle Mohopong is that the ANC has sort of increased its support base, where it now has half the seats in council, where the other parties combined, the EFF, the DA, the FF Plus combined, has the same number of seats, half the seats in council. So right now, we've been speaking to all these parties who keep telling us, when it comes to forming coalition and parties that they will work with, they are just waiting for governance from their national structures. So at this point, Flo, we expect councils to be initiated next week, but we'll be looking out for these two councils to see who works with whom for services to be rendered to the people of Limpopo, Flo.
Pimani, a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much. Let's catch up with you later on. Of course, we'll be coming there live to Limpopo as soon as that briefing does indeed take place. Thank you very much, Pimani. Pimani is there for us in Limpopo at the Results Operations Center there, where the IEC is to announce the official election results for the province in a short while. I think she said in about 30 minutes. We'll certainly be bringing you that live.